Ida.
And I'm Walker.
And we've been part of the RH family for a little over a year now. So Walker and I have been married for a little over 10 years. And for the past 10 years, we have experienced both financial security and insecurity. During our first year of marriage, we were missionaries in West Africa and relied on financial support of our church and friends and family. And after that year, we were graduate students for 4 years, during which we lived on a shoestring budget and incurred lots and lots and lots of student debt. But then after we graduated, we were fortunate enough to get good jobs. And for the past 5 years, we've been able to experience, somewhat of financial security. Who knows what God has in store in the future, but that's where we are now. And just the past 10 years have kind of been a roller coaster of both security and insecurity.
So we've learned a few things in the past 10 years that I'll try to share relatively quickly. So our understanding of the New Testament call to Christians is one of sacrificial generosity. So Christ has come, Christ has fulfilled the law, we are free from the Old Testament requirement of the tithe, and we are freed into a higher and harder standard of loving our neighbors as ourselves and being generous to the point of sacrifice. In recent years, God has taught us to receive that call on the Christian's life as a grace from Him to us, for which we are very grateful and worshipful to Him. Because God is doing amazing things in the world, and He is inviting us to partner with Him in His work. So Matthew 28, Christ has recently conquered the grave. He says, "All authority in heaven and earth has been given to me, therefore go and make disciples of all nations." So we have a king who is advancing a kingdom, who has all authority. The victory is assured on the last day, and this king is all self-sufficient, right? He's not in want for anything from me or from Ida that we could add that would increase his resources or his abilities to accomplish his goals. And so this victory is assured, and God's call to us to partner and co-labor with Him, and indeed on the last day be co-victors with Him, is a grace to us. He doesn't need the X amount of dollars that I can give. That was really helpful to us in getting our hearts over the hump to become missionaries when we were first married, and it's been helpful to us in seasons when I've been tempted to hoard our resources. This reminder that this is a grace from God to me, and not because God needs my money. We have a heart by our first spurs that is bent towards materialism and selfishness and hoarding of resources, and the New Testament is a relentless onslaught against the temptation to hoard money. And so Jesus, I think, would keep us from these temptations, and one way of keeping us from temptations is saying, give, just let it go, give generously. Jesus says succinctly, I think in Matthew 6, that my heart, I cannot serve two masters. My heart is too small, and I'll either love God or I'll love money. And so there's this opposition set up where both God and money tend towards mastery over my small human heart. They both want to be the source of my confidence and security, and the reason why I sleep well at night and not worry about what the future may hold. And Jesus is saying, at the end of the day, I will bend towards loving one or loving the other. And so here's a grace from me to you. Give it away. Just don't have a temptation there.
We don't want to overstate the level of sanctification that we have achieved in this area. God has done a lot of work in our hearts, but we also see plenty of room for improvement, and we continue to rely on God's grace to be challenged and to be sanctified in this area.
This is an area where there's much progress to be made, and this is progress that we trust that by God's grace we will make. We don't want to overrepresent where we are now, but it's something that God has made us passionate about in the last years as we've kind of gone all over the spectrum of having money and not having money, and so wanted to encourage the body with it.